Right at home there, Merv. Bit of. They thought about the driver with this one, didn't they?
Yeah.
And you so this is the American, and we've gone from Cletrac to Oliver, and that's what it's called. And so obviously Oliver have bought Cletrac, and they've incorporated the name, and soon the Cletrac will fall off, and it'll just be Oliver.
Oliver, yeah.
Now this is a wide track. I mean, what is this, sort of 6 foot, nearly 7 foot wide?
Yep. 68, I think it is, or something.
And the reason?
Oh, for the hillsides. Yeah.
So going on their sides, yeah, towing stuff, yeah.
Mainly what it was built for, yes.
So it's just an ordinary tractor, but it's got these, instead of having wheels, it's got the extensions.
A lot
out
of
the side.
farmers put trays in there.
Of course you did.
And they used to use it for cutting the cream out to the stand, or manure sowing,
Yeah.
carry their bag of manure or hay on it, yeah.
Of course, I mean, it's just logical for you to do that, wouldn't you? Rather than having just a big, what am I going to do with that? Oh, I know, I'll put a tray in there, or lump a couple of bits of timber,
right,
screw them down with some straps, and we've got a bit of a truck.
Yeah. Yeah.
Was this a petrol kerosene job, or just petrol?
Just straight petrol this one, yeah.
I see it's got that's not the dip switch, that's the starter.
Starter, yep. Yeah, you can either start it with a crank or with the battery, put a battery in here, yeah.
So unlike the British, the Americans are still putting your foot up against up against levers.
That's right, that's the clutch. And these are like the other OC4 over there. You pull it right back to put the brake on and pull it around.
And no skinning of the knuckles?
No skinning of the knuckles here,
sure. Yeah. So the battery's sitting in front of you?
That's right, yep.
So would there been many of these in the country?
Quite a few.
Really?
Quite a few.
Yeah. Wow.
There's one up in the vintage club up here, belongs to Bruce Galloway, he got it. And he spent quite a bit of money on doing it up.
Yeah, we saw one or two of these down at the recent Ashburton, event they had down there. And there's one of these. If you look at this picture, there's one of these things trundling along in the big crawler parade, and it was Tracks and Wheels, I think, was the event this year. And anything had a track was there. It would have been at least maybe 140 tractors there. It was just amazing event.
Yes. Yeah, that's right, all right.
Yeah. So another one of your collections.
Yep. And
you're proud of this?
Oh yeah.
Good on you.
Yeah, you're right.
I see a little bit of wire sticking out of here. Is that the choke?
That's for the choke.
Yeah, of course.
Kiwi ingenuity,
Yeah.
It's a wonder there's not a piece of baling twine.
Which brings me to the next
or
point.
number 8 wire. Yeah.
You're trundling along towing your plough behind you, and all this modern equipment, but we're right down to a piece of baling twine sitting about here tied to something, and you just give it a pull to set the thing into gear. Yeah, it's just, technology to the max. Good on you. Yeah, I wonder what they do with that these days. Oh, mind you, it's all part of a great big machine these days.
That's right. Yeah.
Here's the modern plough machine. This was also down at Ashburton, but look at the size of this, and it just hydraulically lifts out. Its ploughs are probably about 30 feet wide, and it just does it all in one hit. These are just massively monstrous. Long gone is the piece of number 8 wire and the piece of string. Merv, we've seen quite a number of rollers in our travels, mainly the big steam ones, and we've seen little traction engines running about, but we haven't seen a roller as small as this one. And obviously there's a story with it, so maybe enlighten us.
Well, I went to look at a tractor over at Tutakaka, over East Coast Bays of Whangarei, and in the shed, when I was looking for this tractor, I came across this. A ship's engineer had retired, and he wanted something to do, and he started building this. And I think the back end is from a Howard rotary hoe with the gears and the
Oh, yes.
levers and that. And he's put a motor on the front here. I've asked several people what motor it is, and nobody can tell me. They say it looks like a Jap or Briggs & Stratton, but I can't find any numbers on it to be able to tell us. Well, several months passed when I was walking past the Thompson Bagley auctioneers in Whangarei, and I see this in the building on the floor there, and I thought, what's happening? And anyhow, I went and asked them, and they said, oh, the old fella's died, and they put it, the family's put it up for auction. And they said, it's going to be auctioned on Sunday. It was a special auction day. And I went over and I bought it. And I'm more than happy with finishing it off. And look at the beautiful woodwork that he did.
Yes.
He's made a marvellous job of it. And this steering box that works the steering, I understand, is out of a TK Bedford.
You're kidding.
Yeah.
Now, this is another thing.
And he also had to have a whistle on it, being a ship's engineer.
Yeah. And that's supposed to go do 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 or something, yeah, when you come on board.
Yeah.
I see you've got a little crank handle on the side here. Is that what starts it?
Yep, it goes in there. Yeah.
There's lots of bits of steel in here that sort of, you know, is going to really get you.
Yeah. And boy, it can kick. And just
Oh,
about broke
really?
my arm, that one.
Oh, wow.
You only pull it up, you don't push it down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So just up once and away it goes, hopefully.
Usually.
Yeah.
Right.
So, is it built for a job or is it just built for a bit
No,
of fun?
it just built for something to do, he said.
Yeah. Well, but you could roll. I mean, you know.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, a little
I've
do-
often thought, you know, I should give the school or something for their cricket pitch or something, you know. Yeah, goes quite well.
So another piece of Kiwi ingenuity, you'd have to call this, wouldn't you?
Yep, that's
And
right.
everything that's in here, like you were saying, it's we've seen one of those Howard rotary hoes, motorised rotary hoe, and they're quite an amazing piece of
Right.
equipment. Wonder what the steering wheel's off. Looks like it's off an Austin.
Oh, I don't know.
There you go. Just another interesting piece of Kiwi ingenuity. Merv, this says F20. What does the F stand for?
Farmall.
Oh, okay. Is that all
International
it's for?
Farmall,
Oh, okay. And a 20 horsepower engine.
That's right,
I'm just trying to think where I saw one of these the other day, and I think it might have been the spud machine that we looked at Blenheim. And the only reason it tells me that is because this gearbox connection between the bell housing and the gearbox is identical to what we were looking at. And they put 2 extra gearboxes between the bell housing and the gearbox, spread it out a wee bit. And I guess that, so this thing just crawled along and dug
reduces
spuds.
the
And,
speed, that's right.
and of course you're getting fresh spuds that aren't beaten up.
No,
But this is what, 1920 something?
36.
36,
Well,
really?
that's when my grandfather bought it.
Oh, really? Oh,
Yeah, my
wow.
grandfather bought this in 1936, and it's been in the family ever since then.
Wow.
When I took the pistons out, I had a mate of mine, David Van Dypen rather. He took the rings out very carefully and cleaned them because they were a bit corroded, not corroded, but carbon. And he never broke one. He put them back in, and she's been going ever since. But there was no wear on the ball,
Wow.
none at all.
1936.
Yeah, 1936. And it was sitting in the shed with that old Glover motor when I took over the farm in 69, and since then I've been playing around with.
So it's just been sitting somewhere waiting for it to come here to be
That's
part of
right.
your collection. Yeah.
That's dead right.
Wow. So what's the wire that's sort of going along here around there?
Oh, that's a secret, Bill.
Oh, okay, fair enough. Okay.
When you, I'll get up there.
You say you certainly thought about how you get on this thing, didn't
Yep.
they?
Okay, so you turn the wheel, you see,
Yeah, yep.
and when you turn the wheel, you can pull this, and it pulls the brake on and helps to pull the tractor around.
Oh, okay.
And the other one on the other side's the same. So it's got kind of locking brakes to help turn it around there.
Well, that single wheel on the front, I mean, that would make, the only reason I'm saying sort of easy to turn is because the dancing tractors down Tapanui way, they're all got these little, single wheel or two wheels in the front, and they can just dance and spin around. I wouldn't have thought you'd actually...
dancing tractors,
I didn't think you'd actually need something like that to make it go quicker around corners.
Yeah, well actually when you turn hard around, that helps to pull the brake on.
Yeah, yeah.
And helps to turn it, you see? See that
Yeah.
tightening up?
Yep.
See the brakes coming on now? See how it's worked up the front there?
Yep, so this is...
The wire?
Yep, so it's all tight and doing something. Yeah. It's just interesting also, back in the period, the steering goes straight across the top and through a box here and down to the arm, whereas later times they've started on a slope and go straight to the wheel rather than having the...
And this is petrol kerosene too.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so still running on that hot kerosene.
Yep.
Because the petrol made it hot and then the kerosene would burn. Interesting. Yeah. And these two tractors have got a bit of a story, Murph.
Yeah, well these Caterpillar 22, I got from Waipukurau. I saw them advertised on their Trade Me. They had 4 of these on Trade Me, and I rang them up and said to them I wanted to come down and I was interested in buying them. And anyhow, I went down and I bought this one and 3 others. And I took Duncan Wilson, a trucking joker, down with me. He was a manure spreader joker, had his own business, trucks and trailers. And anyhow, while we were down there, I saw the D2 and I asked the people did they want to sell it too, and they said how much you give us for it. And I told them and they said all right, you can have it, because I paid $2,000 each for these, 4 of those. And we came home with 3 on the trailer and 2 on the truck. We had 5 Caterpillars in one haul. And everywhere we stopped, people start come out and say, where'd you get those from? Where are you going with them? I said, we're going home.
Of course you are.
And we brought them all the way up here. And I've never regretted it. I've sold the other 3 and kept this one. This is the best one of the 2, of the 4. And that's how I come to have the Caterpillar 22s. Some of these tractors will end up in the Vintage Club up here in Dargaville. They have a great, wonderful collection up there, but they haven't got a lot of my models that I've got here. And this is a PD 48, Bristol. I got from Peter McKenzie's clearing sale down in Helensville, when he had his clearing sale down there back about, it'll be 15 years ago now. It was from Peter's mate. I forget his name, Mario something. And it goes, there's nothing wrong with it.
The tracks haven't got any wider?
No, they haven't.
And it's still got that low down centre of gravity as they advertise and boast about? Yeah. I see they've raised the controls here, so they've got away from the skinning the knuckles jobs.
Yeah.
So somebody says, hey, you need to do something about these levers, and so they've raised them a bit. Good on them.
Right.
Murph, thank you very, very much. Your collection is outstanding. Associated with your family, it's associated with New Zealand history, and hats off to you, mate. Well done. And the Bristol, well, English, and they're there for a purpose. Interesting tractors, and until you actually get to look at them up close, you don't really know much about them at all, as compared to the American tractors and other tractors that you have here. But again, an outstanding collection, and congratulations.
Yeah, oh, very good. Only too happy, Bill. Anybody's welcome to come and have a look anytime.
Oh, okay. So if you look at my webpage, folks, www.lowgear.co.nz, in the contacts page, there's a little clip there about how you can get hold of Merv and maybe come up to Dargaville and just have a good look at what he's got. Worth the visit. If you have a motorhome or something like that, just park up outside and come on in.
Yeah, they're welcome to park here anytime. Won't cost them anything.
Maybe a box of chocolates or an ice cream.
I've already had people doing that. They're coming here, staying here.
Good on you.
Yeah.
So there you go, folks. Merv Hiliam's great collection. If you're a farmer, why not take a look at J-Swap Stock Foods webpage? First choice for New Zealand farmers. J-Swap Stock Foods. Swap Stock Foods supplies proven stock food supplements to beef and dairy farmers throughout New Zealand. Swaps have worked hard for farmers over 70 years. They know farmers well and enjoy dealing direct with them. Their various stock food products are stored in and distributed from large storage facilities both in the North and South Islands. The website is full of stock food information and I'm sure you'll find it most helpful. So check it out, www.swapstockfoods.co.nz. You'll be glad you did. And don't forget, they support our show. So good on them. And if you're a beef or dairy farmer, why not take a look at what they can do for you today? www.swapstockfoods.co.nz. I've had this Mahindra now for 10 months and we've done 24,600k, and for all those Ks I've thoroughly enjoyed it, and it's been everything that you want in a ute. A little bit industrial, but hey, it's a work ute. So it's got a 2.2 M-Hawk engine, which has got all the power you need. We've certainly been in some places where that has absolutely surprised me, the power. So if you go to www.mahindra.co.nz and have a look at some of their deals, you can buy one of these things for no deposit over 3 years, or you can just pay cash and they'll give you $3,000 cash back. That was the deal a few weeks ago, so www.mahindra.co.nz and check it all out.
That's Waukesha or Waukesha engine. It's an Indian name from America. Waukesha is still going. They make big engines, big, and this engine is quite strange because I've got a Lycoming truck here, and it's got the Lycoming trademarks on the castings on the engine, and this Waukesha engine has got the same LC trademark, so I don't know whether Lycoming cast the blocks and the heads or general castings for the Waukesha engine, or whether Waukesha made it but under license from Lycoming.
So maybe it was the war and they joined forces just to get the machinery out.
The trademarks are there. So this truck was parked up in 87 was the last time it was on the road when the driver's door fell off. So, because it's wooden frame cab, and they ran it out to the Avoca Lime Works at Tangawahine, and that's where she stayed. The spark plugs rotted out, the cows tramped the bonnets and that into the dirt, and the only thing left of it was when it came here, it had 1.5 wheels, the remains of the front mudguards and the nose cone there. So all the cab is brand new, this truck is said to be 1937, and the dash panel, that certainly looks like it, but I'm not sure that the Americans brought it here in 41 when the 30,000 troops came, and everything they needed and everything New Zealand needed came with them. So this truck is the Canadian Domestic Army truck. I think it was 1937 they upgraded them to this, and then in 41 there's another model came, and on the side of the bonnet covers, this one's got horizontal bars and the 41 model has got vertical bars. They've all got narrow cabs, they're only two-seaters, and this row of switches on the top here controls the interior lights, the headlights, the tail light, the driving light on the white patch on the diff. So everything's got to be switched on. It's got a hooter. And the speedo is 30 miles an hour speedo. So,
and it has the air, you've got air here, is it still?
Yeah.
Pumps up the air?
Vacuum.
Vacuum.
Temperature and amp meter, oil pressure. I was going to say about the ratios. She's very slow. You noticed how she crept out of the shed. The low gear 7.7 to the engine. The transfer case is 2.5 reduction over the gearbox, and the diffs are 6.6 ratio. So that means that she'll do 77 revolutions of the engine to one of the wheel, which takes 3 meters.
Wow.
So she don't go. She's got a heavy-duty 5-speed fuller gearbox. There's three gates in that change there. That's your power takeoff forward, reverse, meaning you can lift on the A-frame on the winch, lift the load up and hold it there, and then you can lower it down again by going in reverse. This one here, that's during the Second World War, these were the only trucks in all the makes to do with the Second World War that had a diff lock in the transfer case.
Wow.
And they're four-wheel drive. You can't drop the front axle out. Most of them had a dog clutch on the front in the transfer case. But this one, four-wheel drive with a diff lock, she's positive four-wheel drive. And the climbing ability on dry ground is 45 degrees.
45 degrees?
So that would frighten most fellas. But
I'll say it would.
I wouldn't be game to tempt fate in it.
So if you're running out of, you start going backwards,
yeah.
yeah. Oh,
No, that's
scary.
steep.
Absolutely
Yeah.
is. Yeah.
I've still got jobs to do on it, but I built all the cab. She's all wood, and I made the windscreen frames. I made the dash panel. There's old lights and dash panel and one of the side covers and that up the top there, and that scuttle that was in the front of the cab here. There was just enough left of the body to know how to make it. Yeah. So I'm quite happy with it. But
So tell me, Peter, FWD
yeah.
says four-wheel drive.
Yes.
Are these the people who sort of started four-wheel drive?
Yeah, I can tell you a lot about all these things. FWD means four-wheel drive autos, and FWD was the one that invented the four-wheel drive. They built a car with their first four-wheel drive car in 1908, and they were manufacturing cars. And then about 1911 or somewhere around there, some officials of the American Army came and had a chat to them about building 2 trucks. They said, but we've never built a truck. And they said, well, would you build 2? And they said, yeah. And that very clever engineer, Desistich, was there. And he was the brains of building the transfer case and the front steering axle, driving steering axle. So they had to build a 1.5 ton truck and a 3-tonner. And so they built these 2 trucks for the Army. Then they were told they were going to take 1,000 men, a battalion of their troops, and all the cavalry and field guns and whatever they had to have to go, and the distance they had to travel was 800 miles. So they all left the camp at the same morning, and the trucks had no problems on the way whatsoever, no mechanical problems, and they arrived at the destination weeks ahead of the cavalry and the troops, and the Army fellows realised that this was the way to ship the Army, was to mobilise them. And this was in 1912. They had the order to build the trucks, and the journey must have happened sometime during 1913. And of course the First World War started in 1914, so FWD was asked if they would build more trucks, and they were given an order for 5,000 trucks for the First World War. So that's how FWD became into heavy-duty specialised trucks.
And when did they stop, Peter?
They only went out of commission finally 2004.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, fairly recent. I'm not too sure,
no.
but
that's a long time in business, isn't it?
yeah, but they've only made Army trucks and specialised snow ploughs for airfields and all those sort of heavy-duty special trucks.
Wow.